BONTILAO, TULO, and today I'll be sharing my experience watching 3 short films at Cine de Oro Festival at Langkit-Kay Cinema. The 3 films I watch here is Daybreak by Angelo Dabay, Sabbath on the Longest Day by Edmund Telmo, and Mama by Adrian Manapin. Even though the 3 films have different story and styles, I've noticed that all 3 films had different kind of struggle, especially stress, loneliness, trauma, memory, and the effects of modern society. Before the screening, I also followed the required social media activity by sharing the festival post and taking a photo while at the cinema. For me, the experience was not just about watching movies, but also being exposed to local filmmakers and stories. The first film I watched was The Daybreak by Angelo Dabay. The film focuses on a character named Dawn, who I interpreted as someone experiencing extreme exhaustion and pressure from her everyday life. What stood out to me was the repeated feeling of work, home, deadlines, and exhaustion. It felt like she was trapped in the same routine over and over again. Dawn also appeared paranoid and emotionally overwhelmed. I interpreted this as possibly showing how extreme stress and exhaustion can affect the way of a person thinks and sees the world. For me, the film shows that being constantly pressured to work and meet expectation can affect not only our physical energy but our emotional and mental state. What I like about the film is that it doesn't simply tell us that Dawn is tired, it allows us to feel her exhaustion through the way the story is presented. The second film I watched was Sabbath on the Longest Day of the Year by Edmund Telmo. This film follows Nan and Griselda, and I found Griselda's character especially interesting. She experienced insomnia and seems to have difficulty keeping track of things. She becomes forgetful, including the important moments such as her mother's birthday. I understand that forgetfulness as something connected to the emotional experience she has been gone through, particularly because her mother had been arrested. The film made me think about how our past can continue affecting us when we try to move forward. For me, Griselda's situation also represents how people can carry emotional burdens that are not always visible to others. I think the film reminds us that when we see someone acting different or struggling with, there may be a deeper reason behind them, and we don't immediately understand. The last film I watched was Mama by Adrian Manapil. This was probably the film that made me think the most because it was presented like a horror film, but I felt that there was a deeper message behind the horror. The girl in the film appears emotionally detached after experiencing something traumatic. She becomes almost robotic in the way she responds to her parents. What I found interesting was how these behaviors seem to affect the people around her, including her father and eventually her mother. For me, the horror wasn't only about being scared, it also made me question what happened when technology becomes so influential in our lives and relationships. It raises an important question, like who should be responsible for consequences of technology? So after watching these 3 films, I realized that independent films don't need long-running time to communicate meaningful ideas. So Daybreak made me think about exhaustion and the pressure of everyday life. Sabbath on the Longest Day of the Year made me think about trauma, memory, and how our past can affect our present. And Mama made me think about technology, family, and consequences of becoming too dependent on modern technology. Overall, my experience at Cine de Oro Film Festival gave me a chance to appreciate independent local filmmaking. It also showed me that films can entertain us while making us think about ourselves, our relationship, and our society.